Dangin Nira, virin uframevna, eb odech laltha. Lesson 9. Modals. When we're not describing past events, conversation usually is taken up by how we feel about things, whether or not we hate them, like them, want them, love them, need them, and so forth. In English, we mainly achieve this through secondary verbs, like, hate, love, etc. These verbs are called modals. They are also used in Dangin Nira. For example, the word to like is Kizroi. To use it modally, we conjugate Kizroi normally, then follow it with an infinitive. For example, to say, I like to walk, you'd say Kizros Lehitoi. Or to say, we like to jump, you'd say Eb Kizros Alioi. You can use any modal in this way. Here are the most common ones. Valoi, to love. Hastitoi, to want. Wegoi, to hate. And Walsoi, to prefer. So for example, to say, I want to throw rocks, you'd say, Hastitos mapatoi gungole. Or to say, he hates to eat apples, you'd say, Wegog ekroi zetke. Notice that in those two sentences, gungole and zetke are singular. In Dangin Nira, unlike in English, when you talk about a thing in general, you use the singular form. Notice also the use of the present progressive. Normally, likes, dislikes, and wants are only relevant right now. If you wanted to describe a like, dislike, or want that is permanent, you would of course use the nomic. For example, if you've always hated watching birds, you'd say, Weguhus legroi spane. Note that this will connote an extreme emotion, so the nomic should not be used lightly in this case. Each of these modals can also simply take an object rather than another verb. For example, you love flowers would be Valom sirie. To say to need, however, requires two different verbs. One, Lehitoi, is only used with infinitives. The other, Meikoi, is only used with objects. To prevent confusion, you can translate Lehitoi as must and Meikoi as to require. For example, you can say Lehitos ekroi zuske, I must eat fish, or Mekios nen zetke, I require the apple. Now it's about time you learned about personal pronouns. Dangin Nira does not use personal subject pronouns, so we haven't needed to use them before. However, personal pronouns still appear in other cases. In the accusative case, we have say, me, may, you, ke, him, her, or it, and zre, one. Please, please, please note that may is you, not me. So for example, to say, I want to hold you, you'd say, Hastitos tsukeloi me. Or to say, I love you, you'd say, Valos me. Note that this I love you is the kind used with friends and family. To say that you are in love with someone, you'd use the nomic, Valuhus me. Personal pronouns also appear in the dative. First person, serg. Second person, merg. Third person, kerg. And fourth person, srerg. So for example, the man must give a flower to me would be nen risa lehitok beoi serg sirie. Remember that these accusative and dative personal pronouns can all take eb and be made plural. For example, I gave you all to them would be beetes eb kerg eb me. We can also use personal pronouns in the vocative. However, the only person that really makes sense in the vocative is the second person, mad, which would mean, hey you. You can also pluralize that and say eb mad. Finally, there are personal adjectives. Seen is my, mean is your, keen is his, her, or its, and zrin is ones. They all change exactly like normal adjectives. So for example, his boy threw your apple to my cat would be kin hebrisa ma patetek siglupuknerg minutzetge. The first three can also be pluralized: ebsin, our, ebmin, y'alls, and ebkin, their. For example, our tree would be ebsin fistra. This is the only case where eb will precede an adjective. If multiple items are possessed, you need to use eb again. So, our trees would be ebsin ebfisra. So, in review, you learned about modals, verbs which can be followed by infinitives, using the singular for general or collective nouns, and the accusative and dative cases of personal pronouns as well as their adjective forms. Review this list of new vocabulary and make sure you know it before you continue on to the next video.